gosh, I was just grateful, right? I was grateful I had some tools to be in that space.
That's when hospitals are actually when I started using machines, because I was like, there's too much energy in here for me to shift alone. This is not like a human thing, and there's too many people. And that's when I started working with AI and ET on an energetic level, because I was like, this needs to be cleared on a level that I cannot do on my own without buckling over here. And that's when I was like, instant, like metaphysical machine. Like scan, clear, remove, recode. I was like, a machine in every room, please. It was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. We're not going down that rabbit hole. We're just going to clear everything, and we're going to like leave it plugged in.
This makes sense why when I was with this friend, I just kept going, wow, I can really feel this machine, you know.
Yep. And my one of my clients, she said, my friend is really psychic, and she said, somebody put a big machine over your bed. It's like huge, it's like a cathedral. And I was like, have you seen the size of the hospital? I'm like, you don't know what I'm up against. You know, it needs to like keep clearing. No beliefs that are not supposed to be in your body are getting in, and that means it has to be there 24 hours a day. You know, which means like, you know what it's like when you have kids and you have a partner. You can't do that energetically, and they need that energetically.
Yeah.
So there are consciousnesses available that can offer that to them. That's a huge deal.
Amazing. That's so cool. So as you look on the whole course, because now 6 months have almost gone by, there's a few more Q&As. Is there anything that you think you wish you could have added or would like to still add? Or
oh my gosh, so you guys haven't had it yet, but the diseases list is coming out with the 300 diseases and all the protocols. So that's coming out this week, and it was finished 2 weeks ago, but then all the editing and stuff, and it's coming out this week. I want to add a whole section on plant medicine. I want to add a whole section on what's it called, like the machines that we talked about, so implants and things like that. It needs a section on conspiracy theory. Right, so people can go deep dive onto the genetic modifications that are happening, and onto the, without feeling like, you know, they're going to be persecuted. But there's a list, there's a whole trauma and somatic module thing that we're already, because I went to the little trauma module that I gave you guys. I was sitting channeling, and you know what it's like with the clair cognisance. So I'm sitting there thinking I'm going to do like 2 hours of like a workshop, maybe an hour, and then it will be done. Oh no, 30 modules came through. And then I was speaking to one of my assistants, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to record this today and tomorrow. And she's like, that's a whole course. She's like, can't you like condense it? And then for next round, like your fears, we'll just make a whole trauma, like a proper trauma aware scenario. But like there's so much, because health is such a huge area. And even the niches, which is why there's the fierce fertility and the guts and things like that. There's, you know, it's so huge. It's so huge. And the more your clairvoyance opens up, but it's so interesting as well. But we also want to add studies. So obviously they're going to have to be self-funded, which is what we've started doing in the background, like proper double-blind studies with the case studies and the results too, so that we can start replicating the results and start, you know, getting deeper into hospitals. But like you said, it is genuinely happening anyway. But there's loads I'd like to add, and a lot more support as well, because it's a brand new modality. The first round was just me and the first round of students. Now we have a few more after the first round, and now the second round that I'm going to be able to pull in even more people. But insurance wise, you can't bring in people that don't know the modality to support people learning the modality. So it was a very high pressure in the beginning, you know. And I genuinely, despite hiring companies both to help with the teamwork and to help with the structuring of the course, because they're used to like business and abundance coaching, they can just pull in whoever they want whenever they want, which was very different than what we were allowed to do. So that was a very sharp learning curve as well. And the hospitals, like we really want to add in the psychic surgery, and we're in negotiation right now with an insurance company, because our one won't let us do it, to let us add it. And then the aftercare, like what you said, because there's very powerful pain control, hypnosis and meditations and surgery recovery, and that I would like to put in for you guys. But I think like I also think the length of the course will have to be changed when I add all that stuff in, because there's no way. It was already too much for most people in 6 months. And you guys really pull me, like you really stretch me, and I really want to meet you. So I literally like go all in every single time. I'm like, I'm not creating anything more. And every single time I end up adding loads more. But yes, there's loads that I think is important to put in, especially pharmaceutical drugs as well, because I think so many people aren't aware of the deficiencies that they cause. And that actually, so much of the illnesses on Earth at the moment are secondary nutritional deficiencies because of the drugs people have been exposed to a year ago or 2 years ago, and they don't even know it. So there, yeah, you asked like one of those questions. Yeah, there's loads more.
When you talk, like the thing that pops up is that meme. I think you either posted it somewhere of, like the world exploding and everything burning down, and you just ask, do you guys need more do you guys need more minerals? And this is something that was so reassuring in the course too, is that simple things like scanning for vitamins and minerals, which is for me quite simple. We had to go in and feel some vitamins and minerals in the shop, and then you feel it, and then you can scan and help so many people with such simple things. Also
it's huge. It's mad. It's huge difference. Stops deformities, stops mental health conditions, stops all, like prevention is the best cure.
Something just popped up. Just maybe one last thing. We might be completing in a second, but I was talking to my dad a few months ago during the course, and I've lived with my dad for 44 years. And I said, Dad, I know why you're depressed. I said, it's heavy metal poisoning, and it's due to the water. And I said, someone else worked with metals. He said, oh, my grandfather was a blacksmith. I said, but your whole family's depressed because of the lead that was in the well in your, and it was like, when you can basically heal yourself from your genetics, from what opened up in this course, and to know how to do, this is something I've dealt with my whole life, obviously. And giving him hope, like, for the first time, because he's been getting electroshock therapy on his brain for like 10 years to try to change the depression. And I said, it's not about getting more electricity.
Welcome to my world.
It's about clearing the stuff out that's causing the neurotransmitters not to be able to fire. So it was massive. And then, after doing so much healing, like we go deep in this course, right? I've done so much healing on the relationship with my father. And I, for the first time in like 10 years, I went and visited him in Israel. He went to go walk Jesus's path. And I said, well, we can come and visit. So my son got to meet my dad for the first time. Wow. No, I'm not going to try. And keep the tears away. And this is huge. I asked him for money. Like, Dad, can you pay for our flights? Which in my world, you'd never ask Dad for money, right? He's not going to give it to you. But it was like, for the first time, he was able to contribute to me and realize, like, I can see my daughter and my grandson just by this. It was like, it was so, so healing. And a month or two ago, we met, hung out with Jesus. had a dinner together in Israel. It was amazing. And this feeling like my dad, who, whether he's going to shift this or not in a different way through, detoxing and all this, but he went right away. He listened to me for the first time in my life. He listened to me. He bought like a heavy metal detox. He started eating cilantro, all these things, which, what a blessing. So thank you for creating this modality.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hear you. I think I genuinely kid you not. I think I'm still in shock that it exists. I'm still a bit numb that it is working, not just like that because I know how much it transforms people's lives, but dissociation's a bitch. That's all I'm gonna say. But it is my deepest pleasure to be able to help. And you know my story in the sense of I started with illness, so I know what it's like to lose people and myself to things that are completely preventable. What you said, which I thought was incredible, is like some things that humanity does in the name of health are just insane when they're like, yeah, let me just, I saw this poster the other day for like, feeling depressed, call the doctor and we'll cut out your temporal lobe. It's
no,
I kid you not. It's an in and out procedure. You can come in the morning and go out in the afternoon. And I was sitting there going, yeah, no, nope. There's just so many things that when you're not able to tap into the body, that's like you said, with the electricity is not going to fix a lot of things. And it's a bit mad, especially with drugs and different substances, because I'm all for drugs when it's an emergency or when it's for something that, you know, needs to be dealt with immediately, like a high-end infection or things like that. But there are absolutely no studies, no proof that we understand what is going on inside the brain and that these substances will help or alter. So like you said, when you clear up that stuff around corruption in the collective consciousness, people can hear you because that battle is no longer going on. It's just the truth is coming through, right? You're not trying to convince them. It's just ridiculous. You're just sitting there going, they just said, what? Like, what? You want me to do what? You know? It's just mad. I had one little boy and he had very, very bad colitis. And I kid you not, before they'd even changed the kid's diet, they wanted to cut out his bowel.
oh,
Right? Like his bowel, he was like have a poop bag for the rest of his life, but before even trying a change in diet. So you get to that point where the truth is just clear and you're not arguing and you're just like, okay, I hear that you really want to help and I hear that you get him, but what if we just what if we don't electrocute anybody's brain? What if we don't cut out any organs? Right? And what if we just change the diet? They're like, that's radical. And I'm like, I know. It's like, what? But it's the power of conditioning, right? That the most sane thing, which is like, can we eat some green things, becomes radical. And the most normal thing becomes, you know, let's cut out this part of your foot or your bowel or your leg. And you're like, yeah, let's try the greens first. And then we can, if it doesn't work, right, we can talk about this later. But it's mad how upside down it's become.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about your program, because like you said, it's getting incredible results and I've seen you shift. I think you went from around 5,000, 10,000 packages to almost 25,000 for your packages. So tell me what you cleared to kind of moved in that direction, because I know they're going to go mad wanting to find out.
Okay, so well, I mean, the stuff that I shifted in order to change prices and to offer stuff like this is self-trust. I really talk to the consciousness of the package I offer. So when I started asking God, like, what do you want me to offer here? I got the Healthy Radiant You package and the Intuition Unleashed package. And when for me, it was really clear, my greatest wishes in this life have been to be able to talk to God. And so I know what it's like. And I obviously have clients who are like, I want to have intuition. I want to be able to hear God. I want to be able to hear and use my clairvoyance and all the senses. And I know what it's like to feel disconnected from God. So my greatest wish for people is to be able to connect to God. And so
that heals everything else. It does.
Yeah, exactly. Then your finances change, then your health changes, then your happiness changes, everything.
You don't have to tell me. I know. But this is the thing. It's like what do they call it in like more my circles? They call it the curse of knowledge. Is that it's exactly what we said. You can forget when you are where you are, that there are so many people who, they're asking they're asking those questions and they don't think, like I said, the simple things work. And I love that, like, your answer is exactly mine. Exactly mine. I think the only other thing that I shifted was around knowing that I matter. So that belief that you don't matter, that causes some weird nihilistic, depressing clouds that really stop people having like the motivation or the energy. And I think it's the root of all self-sabotage. Right? Because if deep down you're like, I give up and I don't really matter because I couldn't get mom's love or dad's love, then you go like at full speed in your business for 3 months, and then suddenly when things get hard, you're like, well, I'll never be able to do it. I'll never be able to get God's love, so it doesn't matter, and you sabotage everything from the inside.
I'm gonna say also that like I've had this 6-month package where I would go with a client and went to like what's the place? Not Lanzarote, but somewhere, Tenerife, and then spend a weekend having a VIP weekend with a client. And then in Medical Intuition, it was like clear for me that I could raise, go from 12,000 package to a 20,000 euro package because of that same idea. Like I matter, and my time and energy matters. Being around me will change your life. I started realizing that I am a wealth of knowledge, and not everyone is. So when I'm around somebody, they will learn from me all the time. They will shift, they will feel different. It was more like I'm a gift at a really deep level.
Yep. It's crazy. It's because you stop trying to get it from people. It just emanates from inside you. It doesn't have, it's just there. And for me, like I said, it's quite different because I actually got, and says you move the way God tells you to move. I got different guidance. I thought I'd be doing one-to-ones for the rest of my life. And if you'd asked me back when I was doing theta, I was like, I don't really want any of the limelight. I'll do the teaching thing, but I really want to do one-to-ones because that was where, like you said, you really get to hone your craft. And that's where it's like that for me was like breathing air. I just wanted to do session after session after session. And it manifested so quickly for me because I think nobody else really wanted to do it at that point in time. Yeah. They were like, that's where I burn out. And I was like, nope, that's where I'm happy. Like I'm like pardon my like pig and shit back here. Just want to stay here forever. And it was at the beginning of the COVID thing that God was like, no, I want you working with large groups. And I remember thinking, I just want to stay with packages. And I remember thinking, was like, no, it's time to shift into groups. And it was the same belief that you matter, that the gifts are really important, that they need to be multiplied, and they need to be multiplied in that collective consciousness, and that they can't magnify and grow and bear fruit the way they need to just in your own energy. They need rich, fertile minds and hearts to grow in. But yeah, it was very different because it's interesting to see what the path would have been if it had been different. But it's exactly the same. It's that energy of it's exponential growth, and you get how much you matter, but not from a lip service way. It's just in your heart that it's the truth. Yeah. I think that's the difference between doing the healing work and not doing the healing work, is that when you're not really doing the inner work, it's like you're faking it. You have to force it. But when you're actually shift it in here, the life moves around you because your vibration is just different. Yeah, exactly. And then when you're sold out for 4 months in the future, you basically have to offer group stuff because there's still so many people that that want what you have to offer. So that's just part of it. And it got really stressful as well because especially with health, when people would, especially for emergency health stuff, I didn't know where I was going to put them in. I was like, because health can be like long term, but health can also be, I've got stage 5. I need a session like tomorrow. I won't be here in a month.
Exactly.
And they're going, right. How am I going to do this? And it also causes like you said, the calling in of more people because you're an overflow, right? Suddenly you need the support to support. And it's such a beautiful, it's funny, isn't it? Because the first stage is like the flowering, and then the flowering is followed by the fruit. And that's what I feel like we're kind of in, is that fruitfulness energy where everything is all the flowers are popping and becoming and they're like really surprised because I thought I was a flower, and it's like, yeah, but now you're a fruit. It's just God's way, isn't it? It's like surprising you. When you're like, I thought the flower was the most beautiful thing, and it's like, yeah, no, I made this thing for you to eat, that nurture everybody else too, and you're like, okay, that's pretty awesome. I thought we were done with the flower. Okay, Is there anything else, my darling, that you would like to talk about, or are you happy? Anything else you feel guided to tell everybody, not just about you, but in general, any messages that you feel? Because, this is going to be up for a while. So where in your heart, if there is, now is your chance.
So what I notice, especially because I deal with a lot with healers and healers who are struggling to make enough money to stop their business or stop their work so they can actually do their craft and follow their divine life purpose. I'd say the answer is to work on yourself and to especially work on anything that's blocking you from your confidence, your self-trust, believing you're worthy of having all the goods.
Yeah.
The thing I want so much in the world is that people have all the goods that this earth has for them. And it's some, we're all born different with different triggers and blocks and wounds. And it's like, take your stuff seriously, do whatever it takes. Like, this course is amazing because it put us in a street where on that street to get from here to here, you did the work.
Yeah.
And I'm already the kind of person that has done a lot of work and love this work, but I love that we got to do more work. So when you take yourself seriously and take your blocks and say, I want to work on that, I want to shift that up, because the world needs more people to show up so they can get the goods.
It's alignment. It's such a deep, it's alignment. And it's worthiness is an inherent part of divine work. I think that when you've done the work, I don't think there's anybody graduating having done all this work that goes right. And that's why I find it so amazing, because so many of the modalities that don't have that, I find that people graduate, but they never practice because deep down they feel like they don't understand it enough, or they haven't cleared enough with it to feel comfortable or in integrity guiding other people through the process. I think because we work so hard, right? By the time you finish, you're like, no, I do know what I'm doing. No, I can't help somebody. No, if you put me in a sticky situation, I had to get out of this sticky situation, that sticky situation, that difficult. So I do know what I'm doing. And no one can take that away. That's yours. Your ability to rise is yours. Your ability to, and that only comes from being put in difficult situations and having to sort of problem solve, to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you created a Bikram Yoga class in a healing modality.
I love it. I love it. I don't care what anybody says. It's the best thing ever. I know it's not even trendy, but it just is. It's my favorite thing yoga-wise. I think that like that yogi was an absolute genius. The way he put it together, the way your body's like energetically clear afterwards. I'm like, yeah, say what you like. It works. Okay. Thank you so much, Robin. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I would absolutely love to do it again if you're open to it. Guys, all of Robin's incredible details, her group programs, her one-to-one sessions, her Instagram, YouTube, all of that stuff is going to be underneath, and we will be updating it as she goes on her journey so you guys can know what she's offering at specific different times. And if you're feeling guided to work with her, seriously, like, do not hold back. This is an incredible person, and with such a huge heart. And it's a safe space, which is a rare thing, but it's also a real thing. And you get to experience that. You get to be held in that way. Thank you so much, Robin.
Thank you so much, Sky. Bye for now.